Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, a weapon and ammunition found at Rockbridge County High School was only one of 3 incidents in the past 2 weeks. We have more details on all 3 and will tell you what the school board is doing to respond. And parents of students at Oxford High School have filed suit against the school district in response to the deadly shooting last week. We'll tell you what they are alleging and asking for. Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin said he wants to take Virginia out of a carbon reduction initiative. We'll tell you what his reasons are. And you want fries with that turkey? Well, a group of turkeys in Pennsylvania wanted some of those fries for themselves, so they went through the drive-thru. We'll show you the foul footage. All that and more next on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the last Rockbridge Report of the year. I'm Shauna Muckle. Later on in the newscast, I'll be joined by Adam Lamberti, Drew Thompson's weather, and James Laverty's sports. Rockbridge County High School officials are investigating incidents that happened over the past 2 weeks. In one, a gun and ammunition were found. In the second, a black student was threatened with lynching on a school bus. In the third, students performed the Nazi salute in a classroom. The Rockbridge Report's Brianna Hatch joins me to discuss these 3 separate incidents. These 3 incidents, are they connected?
Thanks, Shauna. In late November, a white student used a racial slur and threatened to lynch a black student while on a school bus. On December 1st, 3 students played a Nazi anthem on YouTube while holding up photos of swastikas on their phones and doing the Hitler salute in a Rockbridge County High School classroom. Less than 24 hours later, a student was found with a gun and 3 magazines of ammunition in his backpack. There is no confirmed connection between the students involved in these incidents, but some say these incidents are connected in their threat to student safety based in harassment and discrimination concerns.
How do students feel about these incidents?
223 students stayed home from school last Friday, the day after official word was given to families about the anti-Semitic and gun incidents. Students see the hate speech incidents as part of a larger issue, an intolerant school environment where administration is not doing enough to educate students and staff. Administrators tell students that they can't act unless the incidents are reported, but students feel like there is no action taken even when they do file an official report.
And what steps have been taken in all of these incidents?
Rockbridge County High School Principal Michael Kraft said the students involved in the anti-Semitic incident have been suspended with a potential for expulsion. The student with the gun was removed from school and arrested on Thursday. Kraft said the administration looked into the bus incident but ultimately could not take any action because there was no report filed. Many parents, teachers, and students were frustrated with the administration for not putting students into lockdown after they were notified about a gun on campus. But Principal Kraft said the student and gun were removed within 2 minutes, and they determined that the student was acting alone, so there was no need for a lockdown.
Did parents feel like they were in the loop with these incidents?
No. Because of the 2 ongoing investigations, Principal Kraft said he was unable to release a formal statement to families until around 6 o'clock on Thursday night. The anti-Semitic and gun incidents both occurred at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday and Thursday, respectively. So parents feel like there was a long time delay in between, but Kraft said he didn't want to say anything until he had full information. Some parents are also frustrated with a lack of communication entirely about the bus incident. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Brianna. You can read her full story on our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. The family of a student wounded in the shooting at Michigan's Oxford High has filed a lawsuit against the school district, officials, and employees. 4 students were killed and 7 other people were injured in the shooting last week. The suit argues those named, quote, willfully misrepresented the dangers, end quote, of a potential shooting and acted recklessly. The plaintiffs are asking for a jury trial and seek damages in excess of $100 million. An attorney for the family spoke Thursday.
We hope by this lawsuit to make the financial cost of allowing children to be slaughtered very high, so as to compel people to do something.
The 15-year-old suspect, Ethan Crumley, has been charged as an adult and pleaded not guilty to terrorism causing death and 4 counts of first-degree murder. Before the shooting, 2 teachers reported troubling behavior from Crumley, including one incident just hours before the killings. Crumley's parents were on campus that day due to that specific incident, but refused to take him home. They are both facing involuntary manslaughter charges related to the shooting. You can already feel the holiday spirit in downtown Lexington, and businesses are welcoming eager shoppers. However, the supply chain issues caused by COVID-19 have made it harder for local retailers to stock up on Christmas merchandise. The Rockbridge Report's Simona Radova, joined by Felicity Taylor, reports.
The holiday season in Lexington kicked off around 2 weeks ago, and there is already so much happening downtown, such as the Christmas parade this past Friday. Local businesses are preparing for the Christmas shopping frenzy and say more people have decided to shop local this year.
I think this year they're being cautious, but they're being very joyful. They're looking for ways to show that meaning in a gift rather than just getting a gift.
But finding the perfect gift hasn't been as easy this year. Nationwide, many retailers are facing shortages due to shipping delays. And the National Retail Federation cautions that the latest COVID-19 variant could mean some shoppers stay home. Main Street Lexington Executive Director Rebecca Logan said local businesses had to place their orders way in advance this year.
There are ships at sea waiting off the ports to be unloaded, and there's such a backlog because of the pandemic.
But local retailers are trying to focus on the positives despite those threats.
We've tried to make new and interesting products like gathering items to put in a basket, just doing different things to make it a little bit unique for the gift buying. And it looks like people are coming in and starting to enjoy the holiday spirit, which we're very, very thankful for.
Local merchants say one of the nicest things about Lexington is that every shop is unique, and that makes for a very different shopping experience.
Lexington is a very popular spot for visitors to come for the weekend and shop because we have over 105 stores, not even restaurants, just stores. So you're going to find something for everybody on your list that will be unique.
We're just getting started, but we've been going around some of the shops downtown. There's so many fun things down here and lots of good options, and we like to support our local businesses.
Local business owners agree that Lexington has become a popular Christmas shopping destination, not only for locals, but also for tourists.
The Labor Department says claims for unemployment benefits have dropped to a new low. Thursday, the department released its weekly jobless claims report. It found 184,000 claims for benefits were made in the week ending December 4th. The government says this is the lowest level for claims filed since September 6, 1969. Meanwhile, as of October, the nation had 11 million jobs available and not enough people to fill them. President Joe Biden convened the first ever virtual summit for democracy today. The summit is part of his plan to promote democracy around the world against a rise in atrocities. The virtual gathering of leaders is focused on combating corruption, defending against authoritarianism, and promoting human rights. The president believes America has a responsibility to ensure democracies prevail.
Democracy, government of the people, by the people, for the people, can at times be fragile, but it also is inherently resilient. It's capable of self-correction, and it's capable of self-improvement. And yes, democracy is hard. We all know that. It works best with consensus and cooperation.
More than 100 people attended the summit, representing leaders in government, civil society, and the private sector. Coming up next, Virginia congressional districts could be changing in Democrats' favor. We'll tell you what changes to expect.
Hi, I'm Drew Thompson. We've had some cold temperatures the past few days, but it will be warming up into next week. Stay tuned for the full weather forecast.
And Omicron is coming, but Delta is still here. We have the latest updates on the variants tearing across the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Adam Lamberti. Virginia may be getting new congressional districts. Two special masters, one each nominated by Democrats and Republicans, released their proposed maps yesterday. These maps would give Democrats a better chance of winning 6 or 7 of Virginia's 11 seats. The special masters said in a normal year they would expect Democrats to take the majority of the seats. One thing the new maps would do, though, is take Rep. Abigail Spanberger out of her Richmond district. Glenn Youngkin says he wants to use executive powers to withdraw Virginia from a multi-state carbon cap-and-trade program. He said the program has overburdened ratepayers and businesses. The Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative is a program between 11 mid-Atlantic and Northeast states designed to reduce carbon emissions from power plants. The initiative requires power plants to purchase an allowance to emit a certain amount of carbon. Youngkin said that he expects Virginia's participation to cost ratepayers $1 to $1.2 billion over the next 4 years. Democrats are defending their decision to join RGGI. As data rolls in on Omicron, Delta is still doing damage. And as Britt Conway reports, many scientists and hospitals are stretched thin as pushback continues against federal mandates.
We're definitely seeing this Delta wave hit across the U.S. right now.
23 different states have had more than a 20% increase in case numbers.
With surges in parts of the Midwest and Northeast, including record high hospitalizations in Michigan, New Hampshire, and Maine.
But we expect to see other areas of the country also light up in the next several weeks.
Likely Delta, but Omicron is spreading.
Scientists are working around the clock looking into this.
U.S. labs that track variants are struggling to keep up.
It is a significant effort. Our staff are exhausted.
But we are learning more. Pfizer says adding a booster increases its vaccine's protection by about 25 times.
A third dose appears to be necessary at this time. That's what's going to protect us.
Which begs the question, will the definition of fully vaccinated change?
It's going to be a matter of when, not if.
I fully agree with the idea that to be fully vaccinated today, you need to have 3 doses, a 2-dose prime for the J&J vaccine.
But as health experts push vaccination, there's some pushback on mandating them. The Senate voted to repeal the federal vax or test mandate for private businesses with 100 or more employees. But that move, with 2 Democrats joining Republicans, was largely symbolic, since a vote is unlikely in the House and President Joe Biden would certainly veto it if it landed on his desk. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration authorized Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 boosters for 16 and 17-year-olds. It's the first COVID-19 booster authorized for this age group. Like adults, 16 and 17-year-olds are now eligible to receive a booster dose 6 months after their second dose of Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The move comes a day after Pfizer released studies showing 2 doses plus the booster are enough to neutralize the Omicron variant. The Lexington Police Department is looking for 5 to 7 local residents to serve on a new police chief's advisory board. Police Chief Angela Green is seeking community leaders to volunteer for a 2-year term. They'll get access to some police department statistics in return for her advice on local issues. Read Tori Johnson's full story on our website for more details. Coming up next, earthquakes hitting near the Oregon coast, what scientists are saying caused it. 9 months ago, Tiger Woods didn't think he would walk again. Now, he's back in the game. James Laverty has the details on his return to the sport.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Drew Thompson. Geologists are keeping a close eye on one of North America's most active fault lines after more than 40 earthquakes rattled off the Oregon coast. The quakes started Tuesday and continued into Wednesday, ranging in intensity from 3.5 to 5.8 on the Richter scale. The National Tsunami Warning Center says none of the earthquakes had triggered a tsunami alert. The swarm of earthquakes clustered about 200 to 250 miles west of Newport, Oregon. They were far enough away, though, that people on land couldn't detect them. The fault line is called the Blanco Fracture Zone. Analysts at Oregon State University say it has produced more than 1,500 quakes of magnitude 4.0 or greater since the 1970s. And, or there may be a bit of a geological shakeup on the west coast, we're preparing for a weather shakeup here in Lexington. Our high today was 45, the low 29. Barometric pressure rising to 30 and 18/100ths inches of mercury. The wind speed at 10 miles per hour and humidity at 48%. A quick look at radar shows not a storm cloud in sight, although there is a chance for some rain headed into tomorrow. Regional conditions today, sunny with some clouds. Temperatures generally in the upper 30s and lower 40s, 42 in Charlottesville, 39 in Lexington, and 44 degrees in Roanoke. And the 5 days ahead shaping up like this for you. Friday, high of 50, low of 45, cloudy throughout the day with a chance of rain starting midday and another chance for rain into the evening. Saturday, a massive hike in temperature up to 67 degrees. That's the shakeup I was talking about, and a low of 31. A 100% chance for precipitation throughout the day with a possibility of thunderstorms starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and continuing through the evening. Sunday, the sun comes back out, some cooler temperatures, again, high of 50, low of 26. Monday and Tuesday, though, things start warming up again, high of 58 on Monday and a high of 61 on Tuesday. And coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, Simone Biles is Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. James Laverty will give us the reasons for why she's most deserving of the award. And wild turkeys were feeling safe to show their faces again after Thanksgiving. Their first stop, Burger King. We'll show you a father-son reaction to the birds. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. The Virginia DMV is combating drunk driving with a new technology. Jake Burns has the story.
Right on top of the steering column, right there.
This small detector works like a breathalyzer, but analyzes a driver's blood alcohol level from their regular breathing. The DADS technology, as it's called, prevents a vehicle from moving if a driver is over the legal limit. The test is almost instantaneous. Check out this real-time example.
It asked me for a sample. It's that quick.
Virginia DMV partnered with the private company that designed the device to help test it in real-life situations. They pitched DADS as a way of stopping drunk driving.
According to a study from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, equipping all vehicles with such an alcohol detection system could prevent more than a quarter of the fatalities on U.S. highways and save more than 9,000 lives each year.
Snyder is becoming the first major trucking company to deploy this technology in some of their vehicles on the roadway. That'll happen in 2022. But a local company who you've probably heard of before has had a few of the devices in a few of their vehicles for several years now.
So our drivers have said, do you really suspect that we have a drinking problem? And I said, of course not. If I suspected that, I would have never volunteered for this.
Stephen Story, president of James River Transportation, says the pilot testing fit with their safety model and began in 2018. Although drunk driving by commercial drivers is not widely tracked, Story says some fleet owners could find DADS useful.
Let's say a plumbing company that they never see their driver. The plumbing vehicle comes home with them. So I think those fleets that don't interact with their management on a regular basis, I think that provides a huge benefit.
This device is still in the testing phase, and personal vehicles, of course, would have to choose to install them.
The masses do agree you shouldn't drive while impaired.
Emily Curtis with Students Against Destructive Decisions says anything that stops people from driving drunk is a good thing.
So having that technology in place to just prevent you from making that destructive decision right up front will be a really great thing, a helpful tool.
Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.
Hi, I'm James Laverty, and it is time for your weekly sports segment. It was a good weekend for the Washington and Lee Generals basketball program as both the men's and the women's team won their games at a home doubleheader on Saturday. The men's team won their game against Randolph College 94-88. Robert DeCimio led the way again, scoring 28 points and shooting 10 for 18 from the field. Mark Lamendola controlled the game from the point, putting up 20 points himself while dishing out 8 assists and racking up 6 steals. The women's team won their game versus Guilford 72-61. Kate Groninger led the way with 20 points and 6 rebounds. Megan Horn nearly put up a triple-double with 13 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals. The men's team plays next at Catholic University on December 19th at 2 p.m., and the women's team plays the same day at home versus Loras at 7 p.m. Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year is Simone Biles. The American gymnast withdrew from several Olympic events due to mental health. At the time, Biles said that she had, quote, the twisties, a block where her mind and body weren't in sync during her routine. The 24-year-old cheered her team on from the sidelines instead of risking injury. She still ended the Olympics with 2 medals, a team silver and a bronze in the balance beam. This year, Biles also spoke out about being sexually abused by former USA gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. Other athletes say her decision to discuss her challenges openly showed the world that athletes are humans too. And Tiger Woods is returning to competition on the golf course. The PGA Tour announced Wednesday that Woods will be playing at the 2021 PNC Championship in Orlando. The 15-time major champion tweeted he will be competing with his son Charlie. The pair will hit the green at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club for the 2-round event next Saturday. This will be the first time Woods has played with his 12-year-old son in a tournament since last December. It'll also be the first time that Woods has competed since being seriously injured in a car accident back in February. Woods stated in a press conference that his leg was nearly amputated after that accident in February, and now he is eyeing a return to competing in PGA Tour events. And a look around the NBA last night, the Los Angeles Clippers down the Boston Celtics 114-111. Brandon Boston Jr. led the way for the LA Clippers as Boston put up 29 points against Boston. Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers took down Gordon Hayward in the Charlotte Hornets 110-106, while Stephen Curry and the first-place Golden State Warriors improved to 21-4 with a 104-94 win against Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers. The Warriors traveled to Philadelphia tonight to play the 76ers at 7 p.m. And in football, the New England Patriots improved to 9-4 and to first place in the AFC with an odd win on Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. Due to some wild weather conditions, Mac Jones only attempted 3 passes during the entire game. The Bills will travel to Tampa to play Tom Brady and the Buccaneers on Sunday at 4 p.m. According to ESPN's FBI projection model, the current most likely Super Bowl scenario would be a rematch between Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Bucs and Bill Belichick's Patriots. And tonight, the Thursday night matchup will be between the Steelers and the Vikings. The Steelers are 6-5 and on the edge of the playoff picture, but it was reported earlier this week that quarterback Ben Roethlisberger has told former teammates that this may be his last season. The two teams kick off at 8:20 p.m. And in other news, patrons at a Pennsylvania fast food restaurant got quite a surprise Wednesday from some feathered visitors. Tom Rader has the story.
It all started with a father-son back-and-forth fowl-related clarification.
The first thing that came out, I said, those aren't birds, those are turkeys.
And I said, well, turkeys are birds.
A little over a week after Thanksgiving, maybe they felt the coast was clear, wanting to have it their way with a visit to fast food royalty.
They followed the people around the drive-thru out front and then sat out front there and just kind of looked in and seemed to be pretty content. They clucked a little bit, but with all that traffic and everything, they were not flustered at all.
Warren and Harrison Schaub started recording on their cell phones along with some surprised customers inside.
I'm not sure they were content with coming out to greet the birds firsthand. I was keen to keep a distance.
Keen to keep a distance from the gobbling gaggle, perhaps in search of sustenance, or with wages on the rise, employment.
That was pretty amusing because they held up traffic in the drive-thru and people were taking pictures.
Warren and his son wondered where the turkeys may have wandered over from, perhaps a nearby farm.
You can see they have birds out back and there's some cages and they're all hens, which is kind of makes sense, but there were younger ones there as well, so my guess is they were out foraging for food.
Whether they may have wandered over for a Whopper or not, a BK manager says the whole unexpected turkey trot lasted about 2 hours before the turkeys took off.
It was definitely a sight to behold.
Or maybe it's all just a reminder that even the king of burgers has to share space with those in the animal kingdom.
They're looking for some space too, so I guess that was the time and the place.
Tom Rader, 69 News.
That's all for today's Rockbridge Report. For more regional news, visit rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Thanks for joining us.